seconds to the Turner Cup. The Komets win the Cup. The Komets win the Cup.
It seems like it was just yesterday when the Komets swept like a whirlwind through the playoffs en route to their first Turner Cup championship in 20 years. The K's became a part of hockey history that night in May. But 4 months later, this is a new team with new faces and a new coach. Tonight, the Komets turn the page and start a new chapter and a brand new season. They begin the defense of their Turner Cup when they take on the Indianapolis Ice, coming up next on TV 33.
Live ceremonies right now at center ice. Here comes Captain Colin Chin with the Turner Cup, and it's a refurbished Turner Cup, I might add.
Several times.
You know, it's a part of hockey tradition, whether it's the Stanley Cup or the Turner Cup, that the lucky winners of the trophy get to spend the summer with it in the off season and have themselves a good time. And stories are legend about what happens with these trophies, be it the Stanley Cup or the Turner Cup. Sometimes they end up in the bottom of players' pools. They end up left in parking lots, so they get pretty dinged up.
Well, last year at the end of the championship night, there was being held together by a piece of black tape.
Well, I know Michael and David Franke were pretty concerned about that, and they called the commissioner, and he said, oh, don't worry about it. A couple of years ago, Kansas City dropped it, and it cracked in half. So the Franke family has taken upon themselves to refurbish the Turner Cup, and there you see the prize trophy sitting at center ice.
When the Komets last won it in 72-73, that night the cup was in 3 pieces, and they forgot it at the Coliseum, and a couple guys had to go back late at night and re-grab it.
Now, what you see right now at center ice, of course, is the Turner Cup, and right next to the cup are the cases containing the Komets Turner Cup championship rings, which will go to the players on this year's Komet Club who were a part of that glorious hockey team that made hockey history last spring when they cruised through the Turner Cup playoffs, beating first Cleveland, then Atlanta, and then the San Diego Gulls. Now making their way to center ice is the Franke family, CEO Stephen Franke, General Manager David Franke, and President Michael Franke. And Blake, I have to tell you, this is probably a moment that these players have waited for a long time. You get to enjoy the summer and the off season and walk around with your head held high and your chest puffed out as being a champion, but they couldn't wait to get these rings on their fingers. That's what it's all about.
A good example was Joel Savage, who was with Anaheim, and he got cut by Anaheim, and he thought he was going to have to go to San Diego. Well, they wanted him to come here, and he wasn't so sure he wanted to come here. But then when he got here and he saw all the guys in the room, he knew he was going to get his ring in the presentation. He was really, really happy.
Public address announcer Jim Amstutz is presently announcing the names of the members of last season's championship team who are no longer with the Komet Hockey Club. Players like Bobby Laxo, who have retired, Paul Willett, who's in the Quebec organization right now. Some mixed emotions for Jean-Marc Richard from the capacity crowd. Of course, Jean-Marc was brought back to the Komet Hockey Club in that trade with San Diego that also brought Peter Hankinson back. And the Frankes were anxiously looking forward to signing JM for another season here, but he took maybe a little bigger paycheck and went with the expansion Las Vegas Thunder. So he was a big part of that hockey club and will get a ring, but the fans, I think, feel maybe a little cheated that JM didn't come back.
I think that's one reason why they went right out and got Brian McKee to sign, because they needed that offensive defenseman.
Great ovation for Igor Chibarev, who accomplished what it's all about, coming to the IHL from his native Russia, having a great year, then being drafted by the Hartford Whalers. He has since been sent to Springfield of the American Hockey League. And perhaps we will have a good reminder of Igor with this hockey club, because the fellow wearing number 29 this year, Vladimir Siplikov, is making a lot of people remember Igor Chibarev. Let's join public address announcer Jim Amstutz for the ring presentations.
Number 12, Louis Carey-Lusick.
How quickly they forget.
Number 8, Ian Boyce.
One of the more popular players in the Komets the past couple of years, Ian Boyce. Good point about Carey-Lusick. He was almost booed out of the building early in the season, but became a hero in the playoffs.
Number
yeah, he's
2,
the guy that
Guy
set up the pass for Scott Gruel, scored the game-winning goal in overtime of Game 3. If he doesn't make that pass, we're probably still playing that game.
Guy Dupuis, tremendously hard-working defenseman. One of the players may be considered on the bubble, but he's worked hard. He's still with the team. And here's a fellow who really turned it on during the playoffs, perhaps the best defenseman on the hockey club during the course of the Turner Cup playoffs, Grant Richardson.
Smitty was the guy who came in late in the year from Dayton and really helped fill a role player. He played his role to perfection.
Number 19, Kevin Mad Mac McDonald.
One of the lunch pail brigade, Kevin McDonald, would always lead with the chin and got the job done in front of the Comet goal whenever the opposition would get a little too comfortable there. Lee Davidson, what a tremendous job he did anchoring that Comet checking line.
I think he's going to have a big improvement this year on an offensive line.
And as you mentioned earlier, Joe Savage, Joel's happy to be back. When he thought at first maybe he'd prefer San Diego because of its closer proximity to Anaheim, but he is happy to be part of this organization. Kelly Hurd, who had an outstanding training camp and a great preseason. Big things expected from Hurdsy this year.
He switched over left wing.
And of course, there's the big guy, Steve Fletcher.
I think fans will be really impressed with Gags this year. He's really possibly the most improved player in training camp. He's been very, very steady in net.
Well, I know he's just hoping for some more playing time. I mean, you couldn't get Pokey Reddick out of the goal. So hopefully Gagnon will get a chance to come close to splitting the duty with Mike O'Neill. And also defenseman Steve Wilson, who joined the club late in the season from Dayton. He's not dressed tonight.
Derek Ray, who's now a full-time assistant coach. Last year he was part-time assistant and part-time working for Comets and Public Relations.
Turner Cup ring, Joe Franke, the trainer.
Here comes the guy who might be as responsible for that Turner Cup as anybody, keeping these guys together, and he really knows how to get it done. He's got great experience. He's worked with the Pittsburgh Penguins, has a Stanley Cup ring from them, and Joe Franke just does a great job, not only keeping the guys healthy, but keeping the morale up.
Yeah, he keeps that mentally and physically.
He keeps the locker room very loose.
Call your attention to the press box for the unfurling of a banner that's been a long time coming. The Comets Turner Cup banner.
And as you can tell, the Coliseum is pitch black right now, and there is the unfurling of the Comets' 1992-93 Turner Cup Championship, their first in 20 years.
That's Don Detter and Ed Sink unfurling.
Previous championships by previous Fort Wayne Comet teams.
The banner having the years the Comet Hockey Clubs won either the Huber Trophy or the Turner Cup.
Early. It's time to defend that Turner Cup championship with the Fort Wayne Comets.
And there you have it. The rings have been handed out. The cup has been on the ice, but it's making its exit. And we are just moments away from the start of the Comets' 1993-94 season. We'll be back with the opening face-off. Christian Soucy in the Indianapolis zone. Again, it'll be Chick, Colin Chin, and Boyer.
Boy, Soucy sure sets up outside the crease. That could be something maybe the Comets could take advantage of with a quick shot here.
He keeps those pads spread pretty far apart, too. That's quite a 5-hole he's leaving there.
New rule this year for the fans is the Comets and the ice, if the player lines up on the circle for the face-off, then the person going for the face-off for that team is kicked out and they have to start over.
Now it's Siplikov behind the goal. Sends it to score! John Purvis! Beautiful play by the Comets off the draw. Siplikov stole the puck behind the goal, quickly fed the pass right in the slot to John Purvis. They said this guy had great hands around the goal, and just like that, 14 seconds into the game, the Comets have drawn first blood, and it's 1-0 K's.
Okay, Siplikov gets the puck behind the net, whips it in front. And instantly, Coach Dwayne Sutter for the... Yeah, see, right in the 5-hole. And instantly, Coach Dwayne Sutter sends out 2 new defensemen. He wasn't happy with that.
Well, we talked about how far apart Soucy kept his pads, and Purvis took quick advantage. The newcomer has a goal right away, just 14 seconds into the game. Puck deep in the Comet zone. Richardson takes the hit. Ice control, but it clears and neutralized. Now here comes Purvis. Spear, though, beats him to the puck. Oh, Siplikov intercepts in the slot to Chin. His high shot over the net. Purvis in the corner, dumps it behind the goal. Now Siplikov goes behind his stick. Chin into the corner. Komets putting on some good pressure.
Komets trying to jump on the fly.
Now Kerry Lusick. Ice could be caught in the line change. Lusick carrying the puck in. Looks for a pass, but cleared to neutral ice again. Now Brian McKee dumps it back into the ice zone. Oh, it gets by Soucy behind the goal. Centered in front, there's Kelly Hurd. He slips the check. Looking for somebody in the slot right in front. Soucy tries to poke it away.
The Ice are going to get caught a lot because they only have 4 defensemen tonight. They had 5 to start the season, but one of them got a concussion last night, so they're really going to be exhausted by the middle of the third.
Big body check by Kelly Hurd, dumps his man. Now Wickenheiser controls in the Komet zone. Brian McKee, long cross ice pass right on Messier's stick. Big drive, and it's a save. Soucy kicked it out. Long rebound, though. Now we have a couple of players coming together at neutral ice. Dupuis rides his man off the play.
Good forecheck.
Good pass ahead to St. Jacques. St. Jacques into the Komet zone. Slips the defenseman. Skates in. Backhander. Good save, O'Neill, and cleared to the corner. Mike O'Neill held his ground tonight. Kevin St. Jacques. Now back to neutral ice. St. Jacques. He's bumped heavily off the play. Brian McKee controls in the Komet zone. Off the wing to Kelly Hurd. Hurd tries to cut in. He's taken off the play.
Came the IHL this season.
Now St. Jacques, top of the circle, feeds it to Dykhouse. Quick shot right on and kicked out by O'Neill. K's control and Chin dumps it off the boards. Here's Kelly Hurd busting in off the wing. He's in. Quick shot and a save. And the puck is in.
Puck is in the net. He's counting it.
The puck is in the goal and it counts. There'll be a protest from the ice. Hurd took the shot as he was being pulled down and crashed into the goalie with the puck underneath him. They all wound up in the net, and it is a goal. Let's take a look at this one again, Blake.
All right, the rule is that the goal counts. The goal counts if he did not intentionally guide it into the goal with his body. And there's no way he could have because he was lying flat and he hadn't had his head turned. He had his butt to the goal, and his butt knocked it in. So that's why it counts. There was no way you can direct it that way.
Well, you'd like to say it was a heads-up play, but they'll take it any way they can.
Well, part of the things of what Komets want to do this year is they want to put a lot more pressure. They want to put a lot more pressure on the power play defense by taking advantage of breakouts like that. That's something they did not do much last year at all. They've already scored two shorthanded goals in their 4 exhibition games, and now 1 here.
Well, referee Joe Ernst explained it to Kevin St. Jacques, and there really isn't much of a beef, and I'll tell you, if they could see the replay, there wouldn't be, because Hurd broke in, had the speed advantage, and as he was being hooked to the ice, the shot was on goal, the save made, but everybody just carried into the net. And it's a goal for the K's, shorthanded, and the Komets lead. Sergei Krivokrasov. And the Ice will try and cut into this Komet lead. They're still on the power play. 1 minute to go. Great pass across, but again, a super save by O'Neill.
Mike's got really quick feet. He had to get over the... Eventually, they just want to have fun to start off.
Lusick to Richardson. Big drive from the top of the circle, off the glove of Soucy, right in front. Oh! Good effort by Hurd, but he couldn't get enough wood on it. Now it's a loose puck in front again. Hurd! Oh, he's out in the skates of Wickenheiser.
Hurd got it anyway.
Kelly Hurd! The Komets just kept pouring the pressure on Messier, Wickenheiser, and Hurd. They all had a shot at it. It finally popped back out to Kelly Hurd, and he tucked it home. And the Komets have another goal. They lead it 3-0.
This is the type of goal you never would have seen Kelly Hurd get last year because he was always outside. This year he's added quite a bit of muscle, and he was inside. This is the pass over to Wickenheiser, and Wickenheiser misses it, and then he picks it up. Kelly keeps fighting and picks it up and hits it on the backhand. Here it is. Soucy's down because he was going over to cover Wickenheiser. That left it wide open for Kelly.
And again, he got no help at all from his defense. And there's been a change made. Blake Soucy is out, and a name very familiar to IHL and Komet fans is in. Ray LeBlanc, the former Komet and Olympic goaltender. Ray LeBlanc is taking over.
After only 6 shots on goal, the Komets have 3 goals.
Hurd, his 2nd goal of the game. An assist from Wickenheiser and Messier at the 7:08 mark. And favorites here, of course, there's been kind of a cult following for the Komets ever since the Franke family took over. And check him out.
The Coliseum board's hearts just went in their throats when he did that.
Whenever he does that flying leap, about 12 flights, they always hold their breath.
They've talked to him about it. They would rather he did not try that. They've even threatened to take away his tickets. Well, he keeps doing it.
Can't take away that gold lame suit. A score! Beautiful play by the Komets. Off the draw, McKee let it rip from the point, and it deflected over Ray LeBlanc's shoulder. We'll have to see if it went off a Komet player or a member of the ice, but a blistering drive by Brian McKee over LeBlanc's shoulder, and the Komets hit the board again. They lead it 4-0.
This is the kind of shot that Brian was famous for when he was here 3 years ago. I think he might have deflected off the Indianapolis defenseman there, Carl Dykhouse. But he did those all the time when he was here 3 years ago, and that's what the Komets wanted to do again.
Well, as you know, Blake, you're right. McKee noted for having that quick trigger. He can really let it fly in a short period of time, and this is a guy they really need to step in to fill the void left by Jean-Marc Richard as far as an offensive defenseman. He's also extremely accurate with it. He almost never hits the center of the goal. It's always in a corner. The goal does go to Brian McKee. So that blast from the point must have gone off an ice player and into the goal. The assist to Colin Chin, who drew it back to McKee. So McKee has his first goal of the season, and the Komets are routing the Indianapolis ice early on. 4-0 here. 8 minutes still to go in the first period.
I think the rest of the teams in the league are going to see that.
Circles a bit in the Komet zone.
You want to make the defense move as much as possible on this.
Now McKee's got the open shot. He lets it fly. Low shot. There's the rebound. Oh, great save by LeBlanc. Ziplikov had him cold, but LeBlanc made the big save.
He saw it the whole way.
Haxtall just slashing all over Mitch Messier. Now Messier sticks a big shoulder into Haxtall. Indianapolis tries to clear. There'll be a penalty coming up on the play.
Yeah, Messier drew another one from Haxtall. Ray LeBlanc started towards the Indy bench, and the referee told him, no, it's on your guys.
The penalty will go to the Indianapolis ice, and it'll be a slack.
Remember, now the ice are down to 3 defensemen, so they're going to be shifting these guys in awful quick, and they're going to get tired.
Here comes Purvis, one man to beat. See Savage breaking in. Here's Savage. He fakes, he shoots, off the goalpost. Savage regroups and has the puck again, cruising through the top of the slot. Joel Savage had his man cold and hit the post. Now Richardson, side of the net to Purvis. Right in front. Quick shot. Oh, another save by LeBlanc, and he covers up in his crease. Kelly Hurd looking for the hat trick. Put the low shot on goal, and Ray LeBlanc smothered it with the big pads.
Jenner was in there trying to dig it out from under LeBlanc. Where the guys have just got to realize the refs are going to call it and live with it. There's no other way, because they're not going to give in.
Now Kelly Hurd right in front to Purvis. Oh, it's poke checked away on a good move by Spear, but the Komets still control. Savage in the slot. Purvis feeds it. Chin wraps it around, and it's just turned aside by LeBlanc. Great move by LeBlanc with the stick.
Colin got a face full of lumber, too.
And Semeta just came up high on Joel Savage. There's a quick shot by Richardson, just off the glove. Wraparound attempt by Joel Savage. The Komets putting on incredible pressure on the ice. Still a minute of power play time remains. Now Savage, down low, Chin, Savage skates right in, quick shot. It's in a maze of players. Savage goes in heavily with Semeta. Now Richardson at the point. Byram, one-timer by Purvis, that's kicked out by LeBlanc. Savage goes in hard. Works Riccardi over, now they're talking it over a bit. Hurd lets it fly. Blocker save by LeBlanc. And now Purvis and Spear are going to have a little bit of a rumble here. John Purvis.
Purvis is not known as a rough player.
Well, they're not getting much going right now. A little bulldogging.
Purvis only averages about 40 penalty minutes a year, so that's not his style.
Well, and this again will work to the Komets' advantage because you'll have Mike Spear, a defenseman, off the ice for at least 5 minutes.
Right now, they got 2 defensemen left.
Well, you can see this coming, Blake, because it was a situation where Indianapolis was putting the lumber up high on the Komet players during this whole power play.
That's not a bad move by Spear because they do only have those 3 defensemen. They need to give the goalie a rest. They were getting pummeled. They were getting plenty of chances around the Indianapolis goal. They needed a rest. That's one way to get a rest.
The ice, number 7, Mike Spear. Komets 25, Doug Wickenheiser. Each 2 minutes high sticking. Each 5 minutes fighting.
They got the wrong guy.
Excuse me, correction on that.
Well, Purvis and Spear each will go off 2 minutes for high sticking and 5 minutes for fighting. 3:43 remains here in the opening period. The Komets lead the Indianapolis ice by the... Comes up high to take him off the play. Clear up to the red line. Andrzejewski takes the hit from Dupuis. Now the Ice work it in. Here's Andrzejewski into the corner behind the goal. Takes a hit from Ian Boyce. Now a big drive by Byram. That whistles over O'Neill's shoulder. Point Richardson. His low shot goes into the corner. Byram didn't even play the puck, was worried about the hit from Fletcher, and the Komets control. Quick shot by Lusick. Oh, that's deflected and goes just wide.
Dave Smith.
Now Fletcher, another heavy hit along the boards. Smitty tries to get by Dykhouse. He's ridden heavily into the corner. Oh, a collision behind the goal.
We got Dave Smith.
Now Dykhouse trying to work on Smith.
They took exception.
And Grossi's trying to pick on Boyce and dump him into the goal.
The Ice took exception to Ian Boyce running into goaltender Ray LeBlanc, who was out of the net. And it wasn't anything Ian did on purpose. It was just he happened to run into him. The Ice took exception to it. Which is interesting because LeBlanc's not known for roaming much from the goal. But there he was trying to help out. The team seemed to be running out of gas in a hurry here. A lot more icings and dumping the puck.
Kriva, Krasov, and Smith getting together. There's Byram coming in from behind. Sean Byram trying to come in from behind, and here we go. It's going to be Byram and McDonald.
And technically, Byram should get a game misconduct for being the third man in. We'll see what happens. He's hanging with McDonald on the ground now.
Well, Kevin McDonald showing his value to the Komets because Byram came right up from behind on Dave Smith, trying to get a piece of Smith when they were having some work with Kriva Krasov, and Kevin McDonald wasted no time taking care of Sean Byram.
Could see Lee Davidson and Dykhouse going here, but they're getting separated by referee.
Dave Smith has already been pushed into the penalty box.
Oh, Smith. That'll do
An
it.
impressive opening night performance by the Fort Wayne Komets. The final 5 seconds. And that'll do it. The hockey game is over, and a good night for the Fort Wayne Komets. They defeat the Indianapolis Ice in their season opener. The final score, 4-1 Komets. We'll be back to wrap things up. Stay with us.
3 for Nate Total.